episode 16 of the Hammock Life. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Can't believe it's episode 16 already.
Episode 6, motherfucking team.
Well, that's what happens when you're quarantined and you're trying to promote as much as possible. And
Is it convenient that quarantine and 16?
No.
No,
No.
it doesn't work that way.
Nope.
I'd like to point out these have been 1 day episodes. I don't know how many days we have been quarantined, but I know it's more than 16 because
Yes.
we haven't released every day.
It's been like
That's
a
true.
billion.
I
On
lost
Friday,
track.
it'll officially be a month, I feel like. 17th.
I don't want to count anymore. I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do something
Beers.
better.
Ow.
I'm dribbling all over my lip.
That's what
Oh,
she
no.
said. Beer.
Nice.
All right, Julian, what do you got?
I am drinking Keep Your Claws Sharp by Fat Orange Cat, brewed up the street at 12%.
I have the House Lager by 12%. It's a snappy American lager.
Ooh,
Is
snappy.
it snappy?
So far,
Snappy.
What about Crackle and Pop?
nope.
Doesn't
It's
say that.
that's not advertised.
Okay.
I'm not sure we have the license to use that.
I have
ours.
something you may have heard us mention before. It's finally ready and canned.
No.
Our West Coast IPA, Californication, came out exactly how
I wish I knew the
wanted it
lyrics
to.
for that song.
Dream of
I mean, it's a Red Hot Chili Pepper song, so it's California, 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 California.
Cation.
I wish Bill knew the lyrics. I wish Bill knew the lyrics too. I think he had a seizure.
And I am also drinking the House Lager because Kevin had 2 cans in his hand and I wanted one.
It's true.
So yes.
Put
That's
that
how the-
can in my hand.
I've seen that movie.
Hey, you know the reference. Yeah. So welcome back, baby. Welcome back.
Baby, come back.
So no wheel today.
No wheel today.
No.
I don't know
wheel.
how long this, I don't know how many legs this is gonna have, but I got the hot take today. Here it goes. I'm interested.
I need a drum roll button.
Just do the laughing track, and I'm probably gonna say perfect.
Just pretend that's a drum.
That's not a drum roll. It's just a
Hot take. We should kill off. This is not good.
This is not starting good.
Where are we going with this one, Kevin?
I can't restart the recording. We already cracked open the beers.
It's fine. All right, I'm just trying to figure out how to word it because I have it, but I don't have the right wording. We should murder off all
That's definitely better.
all seasonal beers should die off.
Yes.
That's it.
I like this
Yeah.
This
How's
is a
that?
good one.
Right.
That's
I-
a little better wording. Seasonal beers should die off.
take. I like this take because I already saw someone post a picture of motherfucking summer ale.
Already?
It's a monsoon in April.
Is
It's
there
not
pumpkin?
summer.
But pumpkin beers come out yet?
But that's
Pumpkin
next
beer.
week.
They'll probably hit the distributors in late May.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I mean, I appreciate having a rotational beer.
Right.
I do. I really do as a brewery. I think it gives people something to look forward to one time of year. But, like, the seasonal beers that are actually tied to a season, like a summer ale
Right.
or the Oktoberfest, the pumpkin beers, all that stuff, there's got to be guidelines. Like, you can't be putting these things out just to try to beat the next guy to market. Like,
Right.
it's-
Yeah,
So,
and
so
it-
I guess like if we're gonna go through this policy of what my hot take is before we go and start arguing about it or agreeing with me, you jerks, don't agree with me. No. But to
think
your
anybody
point,
would
I think where my stance is from this is a beer that is like our spring beer, our summer beer, our winter beer. I think that should die. I think that the rotational beer I'm in for. I think the rotational beers can be built around the season as far as, hey, this crop, this fruit is available now. This, like a pumpkin. Not that I'm brewing a pumpkin beer. I know Bill wants to. He's been on my butt to brew pumpkin beer all the time. He loves pumpkin beer so much.
Bill, I'm
Not
never,
to put
I'm
lactose
never,
in
I'm
it, too.
never talking to you again if you brew a pumpkin beer.
A lactose pumpkin IPA.
You realize everything Kevin says is a lie, right?
It's true. That's why I do love seasonals myself. But I guess my point is the whole, and what you were sort of getting to, Pat, was seasonal beers should fucking die. because the marketing of it's just stupid, and you wind up just like it's almost like now seasonal beers are like clothing or like Easter candy. You were able to buy Easter candy when the day after Halloween. I feel like that's how seasonal beers are being marketed.
I love going into like Home Depot on Labor Day and can buy a Christmas tree if I want to. That's really exciting for me.
But what about seasonal beer?
Can you get a pumpkin? After Thanksgiving, can you buy a pumpkin beer for like 5 cents a 12 pack?
I actually remember I went down to Weyerbacher down in Pennsylvania.
Isn't it Weyerbacher?
Weyerbacher, whatever. I can't speak normally. Why could I do that now?
I don't know. I normally say things wrong, so I was assuming that I was wrong.
But I remember I went down there. It had to be like we did like a night down there to meet up with some friends, and it was probably sometime in like the February, early March, and they had so much of their pumpkin beer left that if you ordered any other 2 items to go, totaling more than $10, they gave you a free 4-pack because they just needed to get rid of it.
Right. They just
It
had so much.
It might have been like February.
But
It was ridiculous.
No, maybe that summer where like at one point everybody had it, and they're like, we have a massive surplus of pumpkins.
It was like the winter of 16. This is when it was.
It sounds about right. Yeah.
I want to say like pumpkin season of 2015. Everybody and their mother made like 6 different varieties.
Well, that
was the year there wasn't enough.
That was the year I actually enjoyed pumpkin beers for the last time.
Yeah,
like that's when Rosemary's Baby really came out. I think.
Yeah, it's a good one.
But it was still in scarce supply.
Right.
Like it was something to have it on draft. Now you walk into a bar in like October, and you can get like 18 different pumpkin beers, and that's not appealing to me anymore.
But I don't think anybody's going to disagree with you on this take, Kev. I absolutely think that traditional seasonal beers should die a watery death in the lake that just formed outside the brewery. But I will concede that they had their place, and I think the reason why seasonal beers were popular at one point was because it was kind of the different beer that you could get. Before craft kind of really got its legs under it. I feel like the seasonal options were something cool and fun that you could try that wasn't always out and kind of had a little bit of exclusivity. So I can at least see kind of where they took off. But then after craft and just beer in general kind of came to its own, and we have all these wonderful styles now. We don't need to make a summer ale or a spring pilsner or a freaking winter lager. They all need to die, and they sure as shit should not be on the floor with the word summer on it in the middle of the beginning of freaking April. It's bullshit.
I think that's kind of what I was thinking too. I think they had their place a lot more, and they were a lot more popular when there wasn't as much variety available, and there weren't as many breweries and options for people.
Well, when they were really popular, take Sam Adams as the prime example of this. They had their 4 seasonals.
Fuzzy wig.
And like that was like the really their only, they had their Boston Lager, they had cherry wheat, and then they had the rotational line, and that was about it back then. Yeah. Like we've definitely grown since that point.
Oh yeah, a lot, yeah. And it's weird too, Pat. I think you hit on this a little bit though. You're as the years go on, we're seeing those seasonals get released earlier and earlier and earlier, further away from the actual season that they're intended for, which is strange to me. Because then, for the summer ale example, by the time we're in summer, you can't find that shit on the shelf anymore. Like it's already been either sold or just taken off the shelves. And what the hell's the point of you're not going to buy it now and save it until the middle of summer?
You can cellar it, Bill.
We've talked about how I feel about that.
Reference episode 11.
Well, see, I have a solution. I have a solution for this for everything except pumpkin beers, because pumpkin beers, it's a fucking pumpkin beer. It comes out in the fall.
Well, it's balanced out a little bit though.
I think separately they just need to die. In general,
that's a whole other hot take.
Rosemary's
I've heard
Baby's
previously
real
love
good,
pumpkin beers.
Hot take number 2: pumpkin is the worst adjunct ever. No,
because it tastes like nothing.
But what they really need to do is just people need to rebrand. Stop calling it your summer ale. Like stop calling it a winter lager. Like just treat the beer as it is. It's this type of beer.
Right.
It's a wheat beer, and there's nothing saying you can't have it more than just in that traditional season. Like, I would drink a summer ale in January if it was on draft somewhere, if it wasn't labeled a summer ale. It would actually give me a negative connotation if I walked into a place and saw it as a summer ale on draft versus just, oh, this is, beer 1, 2, 3. I do
like beer 1, 2, 3.
It's fantastic. I'm ignorant to the fact that it's actually a summer wheat beer at that point,
right,
or lager, or whatever it happens to be. So just get rid of the naming connotation, rebrand a little bit, throw pumpkin beers out the window. We can just solve this whole problem right here on the Hammock Live.
I think that should be another hot take where we just yell at the camera for about an hour. Pumpkin beer.
For the most part, too, though, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't tend to see the seasonal beers from the local breweries, the smaller craft breweries, as much as the bigger guys.
Right.
I can't think of any brewery off the top of my head that I actually buy beer from and drink where I've seen them have a summer ale or a winter whatever the fuck.
I can't.
I'm trying to, and I can't off the top of my head.
I mean, Connecticut-wise, I can think of Back East does their summer.
Mm-hmm.
Does Stony Creek still have they had the
Sun
Sun
Juice
Juice as their summer beer, and
Right, but I don't know if they call it summer, so I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that's kind of what Pat was hitting on, was not calling it a summer whatever. You may just release it in summer. It may be a summer, whatever I can't talk today.
It could be summer inspired, but don't call it a summer.
It's like when we do our Don't Speak. It's definitely a cooler weather kind of fall-like beer, but we don't put the words fall or winter on it, and then it's delicious the whole time.
And ideally, we're brewing around the apple season. You know what I mean? So you're doing those kind of things.
Seasonally appropriate.
Can anyone else picture Tom watching this episode and screaming, "Stouts are more than just for the winter"?
Yeah, I mean, he's like, why couldn't I be a guest?
I was trying not to bring that up.
Thanks, Pat.
I didn't say the slogan. We're partially here.
One thing though, too, I think to what you guys, Pat and Bill, were both just saying was, one, the summer, winter, blah blah blah, I think was way more prominent when there was 30 to 40 breweries in the country. Now there's quadruple that in the freaking state, nonetheless the country. And I think that there's another push and pull a little bit, and that's from the retailers, the resellers. I think it's easier for someone who doesn't know beer that well to sell a summer beer when you're near summer weather, rather than saying, hey, this is a bright blonde ale with citrus, blah 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 blah. So you need a more educated server necessarily, where it's hey, Joe Schmo, I got a summer beer. You want one? You're like, yeah, I totally love summer. You know what I mean? So
I totally love summer.
You know what I'm saying though? So I think that push and pull a little bit. So you and I see it, I've heard it, where you're like, hey, we brew this beer around this time. You know what I mean? We try not to call it.
October is the month we release this beer every year.
Right.
Give
So
or
it's
take.
so it's your fall beer. It's well, you mean
It's our October release schedule.
So you try to educate the people too of it's around this time that we're launching it, but it's it may be because of the ingredients or just that's how our brew schedule is built. I think I'm also a fan of, and I think what you were saying, Pat, is if you do rotational stuff or semi, experimental stuff like that, you can bring it back. So maybe do a beer with Nelson hops in it, and those are sometimes impossible to get. So you did a rotational item or a one-off, and then you're like, crap, I got another bit of those hops. Instead of it calling it our summer ale with Nelson, it's your rotational beer, whatever it's called. You can then come out again in November because somebody had some excess on their contract, and I was able to get a whole bunch to make that beer, which is cool too. But if you call it your summer, and now in December you have a summer ale, what the hell do I have a summer ale?
People might think it's old at that point too.
And it's also it's fake because think about summer ales. Sorry to interrupt you guys. My bad. But
okay, I wanted to drink.
Perfect. But how many summer ales I've had that's a wit beer, with all coriander and terrifying, and then
For you.
yeah, and then you have a blonde ale, and then you can have an IPA. So it's so broad.
Right, it's not a specific style per se. It's
So,
inspired by the season.
I have a
Right.
compromise.
So
I don't-
just to finish this quick though, was if I don't know beer and you're like, oh, I love summer ales, but you've been exposed to a lager, wit beer, an IPA, and you think that's a summer ale. Like, what does that even mean, right?
So I don't think they need to go away necessarily. The more I'm thinking about this, I think that because you're always going to get that person that's hell yeah, I love summer.
I think you're going towards my compromise
You're
here.
always going to get that. So I think
Summertime.
they don't need to go away, but they need to be released and available more seasonally appropriate.
You should not be able to release a seasonal beer until the first calendar day of that season.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah, that
So
never
June,
happened.
like
June
yeah.
Never
21st,
happened.
summer ales are available
There you
nationwide.
go. Yep.
The problem is that retail creepscope. So like that's literally why you see the candy in the aisles the day after the next holiday and whatever
Right.
like that. Because especially when you come to national retailers are so slow. So if you have and I'm not saying local brands, I think that would be totally obtainable like for us in Connecticut. But you talk about like a regional or almost a semi-national brand. Trying like
You see it all the time where you get a new product that you are not allowed to release before X date and X time.
I don't disagree with you.
Same concept.
I just sort of understand the market, and I think that is a challenge because people want to be the first to market, and I think that's what really that's why I think you saw pumpkin beer sort of die, was that everyone wanted to be first to market with their pumpkin beer, and so there was some traditional well-known some of the quote unquote best pumpkin beers there, then got buried. So then they're like, all right, well I'm going to brew it a week before. Eventually, they're brewing it in May so they can launch it in June, and that's not even a lie. Like I've seen them in August, thick on the shelves.
Legitimately, I think last summer the pumpkin beers hit the distributors on August 1st.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah. So it's like the Cuban Missile Crisis of beer.
You don't want to drink a pumpkin beer when it's 97 degrees and sunny out?
I don't want to drink a pumpkin beer.
Can confirm.
Hot take.
So I think we're done with this at this point. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think
so. Yeah.
So where's the stance? The stance is
They should die. You were right.
either die or conform. Fall in line or die.
Conform or die.
I mean, I like the compromise part of this. I don't think they need to die. Like we said, I think being released more seasonally appropriate and being available only during that season is. I think that's better because I think they have their place. The market's there for them, obviously. But I think, like you said, the rat race to get them out on the shelves as early as possible to beat the next guy. And some of that might be driven by the stores themselves, too, because they're buying up whatever they're buying. And then, you're late to the party, and they're like, well, sorry, we're not buying anymore. We've
Right.
already got this many pumpkin beers. We're not buying yours.
They do have this many.
So next so next year, that brewery's like, well, we got to brew this shit earlier. So it's probably driven from both sides. But still, yeah, I like the compromise of it. Have it more seasonally appropriate and available on the first day of that season.
I think that's great. I think it's a great plan.
My thing wants to drink too.
You lost your thingy.
Yeah. So, Bill mentioned, or one of you mentioned the episode where we just sit here and yell things at the camera.
What are we yelling?
I thought of something here.
Uh-oh.
This is on the fly. We do this Animal House style, where we put up a projector, where the projector, a hot take would flash up, and then we would just throw shit if we didn't like it. And that's the episode. Subscribe, smash that like button, and tell us what you think in the comments below.
Hit the little bell for the notification.
I
There
am
you
going to
go.
be drunk after this beer.
It's only 7.6%.
You only had one lunch today, though. You didn't have two
No,
lunches.
I only had one lunch, and I normally drink 4.7% beers.
See, and now we're talking
I'm
about
sorry
food,
you're
and we
weak.
can go to our food spot of the
Ooh,
week.
Food spot of the week.
Food.
I like food.
Mm-hmm.
Me
Well,
too.
What do we got this week for food?
So this week we are gonna.
Oh, wait,
start-
we can't. We missed. We
Oh,
forgot.
we totally.
We
Oh my
forgot
God.
Oh my
the
God.
contest.
Wait a
we
minute.
almost forgot it again.
We had to follow up with the contest because it still was the same window, but we forgot to do the list last
All
time.
right, so put a pin in that food thing for a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna it's like a club sandwich.
All right, I'm going to random.
That's a toothpick.
Whatever. you do what you want.
Gotta get
All
one
right,
with the
so you're gonna do the
furry
rando.org
I'm
thingy.
doing the rando.org thing.
All
I
right.
already had it up, just on a different window.
Boom. I'll grab my phone for the names.
You need the names.
Yeah,
And how many entries do we have?
I don't know, a whole bunch.
Okay. Well, you need to tell me so I can put the number in.
You already put them in. We had this before we started. Don't
Oh, yeah, shit.
pretend. He's pretending now.
There we are. Yeah, so we have a range of 1 to 56. And
56.
I'm going to go over and hit random. And the number is number 2. That wasn't very random at all, but that's what it said.
It went 1, 2.
2. And then
Two
it
is my
stopped.
All
favorite
right, let me
number.
look up.
Well,
the
for all we know, it could have started
spreadsheet.
at 56 and worked our way back.
Yeah. And we have a spreadsheet that relates back to the names. So number dos is Megan Fitzpatrick. Woo!
All right.
We will email you to let you know your gift card. Wait. All right, calm down, studio audience. Just chill out.
Studio audience. Shut up over there.
I need to
All
label. I need to
yous.
label these buttons.
Damn it, studio audience, you chill out. So we'll email you, but congratulations on getting that gift card. Boom.
Sweet.
Anyway,
right.
now back
Back to food.
Let's
Taking-
take that pin out of
taking the
there.
pin
Let's
out.
take that pin out.
So this week we are going to highlight our good friends at the Blind Rhino. Hi, Lainey.
Blind Rhino.
Lainey, you're not in the
Lainey's like,
frame.
ooh, I love food.
Yeah, so they have 2 locations in Norwalk and in Black Rock. They are currently closed, though.
Right, yeah, they're not.
Yeah, no takeout or anything for them.
It was like too much for to
Yeah.
keep it going for them.
Yeah,
is a
but
bummer, 'cause
they
those-
are big supporters of us.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. I mean, they're huge in Connecticut
big
beer
supporter.
in general.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know, they
say
have
of
for
CT
people who
beer
don't
in
know. Yeah,
general.
they have the 2 locations. Original one, Norwalk, right? Newer one in
Black Rock,
BPT.
Bridgeport, yep. Award-winning Buffalo Wings. They actually went up to the Buffalo Wing competition in Buffalo, New York, and took home 2 trophies a
Oh,
couple
yeah?
years ago.
They
Oh,
did
yeah.
a couple. They do it like
Dose.
every year. They go somewhere and win
Yeah,
trophies.
Yeah.
They're
right
real-
now they're not
real,
going
real
anywhere
good.
because no one's allowed to be anywhere.
Well, they're going to Jamie's Kitchen. He's doing some awesome social
That's
media
right.
stuff
He
on
very much
how to
is.
cook. Like he showed like smoking a ham for like a day for Easter. It
I
was
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me sad. I actually didn't watch it all the way through because I didn't want to just go eat at that time, and I know it was going to happen.
Like, I
if
need to eat a
watched-
whole ham now.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, I
so,
could definitely eat a
Whole ham challenge.
yeah, but so they're closed, but you can still support them. You know, buy gift cards when they reopen. You can get swag and merch online.
Yeah, they have their whole website going. I think they actually launched some fresh swag too, so that way you couldn't get it before, kind of thing, which is
Nice.
cool. And I think they're doing some trivia thing too. So go to their Facebook. I think you can pay or
They're
win
do- yeah,
something.
I think they're doing a weekly trivia with best trivia ever.
Yeah. So
online.
you can check that out too, obviously. And hopefully we're all open up early, so you can go grab some wings and some No Worries beer from their spots too soon. So
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
boom, 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 ba. Where's that studio audience at?
We sent them
there
home.
they are.
I thought we-
There they
I
are.
thought we sent them home.
No, I just yelled. I said keep it down, and now I want them to bring it back up.
I think that's all we got.
Yeah,
Yes.
I,
So
this was a top 3 hot take for me.
I liked it.
Yeah,
It was a good one.
I like
because I'm the best. I always bring up the best hot takes so far. I have 2 of the top 3.
Mine are
So
the
what you're
worst.
saying is we just get rid of the wheel and have you come up with them every week?
That's too much pressure. I like being the best, not the mediocreest.
The thing is, we're saying the best, and then his mind is going around.
You're
I mean,
lucky.
mine was.
My microphone cut off when I said.
Yeah. So yeah. Until next time, we'll be back on Friday because we're doing 2 episodes this week.
Yeah. We don't want to inundate you on the hot takes. So especially
Dialing
once,
it back.
especially because we want to get some of the guests in here, all that kind of stuff. So ideally, this is gonna be fun to do with non-us. As it's been fun with us, but to get other people's takes, especially from other breweries, other people in the industry, it'll be fun. And we're also trying to figure out a couple other segments to talk about, and some of that could just be more guest-oriented things. But if anybody has any ideas too, feel free to throw us a line, comment, email, whatever jazz you like to use. We're here to lead and listen to your feedback.
Yeah, definitely. Want to use your suggestions too. Just
Yeah.
keep them coming.
This has been fun. We just don't want to do too many of these things, and then people are like, oh man, what is Bill talking about again?
Yeah.
Talk about how much he likes pumpkin beers and lactose and
On
IPAs.
that note, don't forget, drink local, subscribe, smash that like button, and until
And
next
ring the bell,
oh,
bitches.
I forgot the outro song. There we go. That's better.